Preparing to live stream.
We're live.
We're live. We're probably live already. It happens to me every time.
Yes.
I just wait until it pops up to where I can click on our own video.
I just refresh your page until I see a shirt on a thumbnail that isn't the one that
yeah, right. A scorched shirt. All right, here we go.
Well, that's right. Any thought with the shirt tonight?
Any what?
The shirt you're wearing.
Oh, this is a normal shirt. I didn't even think about it. If I'd thought about it, I would have gone with another Hawaiian, just piss everybody off that was hating on my.
We should do something intentionally just to piss off the audience.
Yeah, exactly. That's how appreciative we are of all our return visitors.
That is here, mofo.
Right. Or instead of Che Guevara, it's now like Stalin on your shirt or something.
Yeah.
This keeps getting worse.
You do Stalin, I'll do Mao.
Yeah, right. Ridiculous. So it should be fun. For those of you guys who weren't here last week, I'm sure most of you were. We get a lot of regulars, which is awesome. We are going to be covering our thoughts on a 3-man fantasy draft team for shit the fan / bug out scenario. And it's only fantasy in the sense that we're not really drafting them for a team. So the rules were they have to be a real person. So we can't pick fictional people, and they have to be alive, right? Was the other one. It can't be a historical figure like Lewis and Clark or whatever was the rules. So now what I drafted this as if they are taking them how they are today, not
really?
like in their prime necessarily, but that wasn't specified. So it doesn't really affect my team. It would only make it better, obviously, if it was like they were all in their physical prime. But that really wasn't really specified. So we can go either way on that one, depending on how you interpreted it. Because the only thing that the rules, the guy who brought this up last time, and I forget, who was it? Was it First Last or 5-7 or something like that? I don't remember who. But who brought up last time was they only specified that it had to be real people and they have to be alive.
Yeah, brilliant concept though. I mean, we did this
great idea.
Back in the day, top 5 coronavirus mistakes, top 5 this, top 5 that, and we would each make videos. We'd fire them off, and Eric would have his. JJ would have his, and it was like, oh, well, I think blah, 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 blah. And it was interesting. It was educational. But this is next level.
Yeah, and it's really cool. And it also brings up, I mean, obviously it's fun just from a, game type perspective, but also the things it makes you think about as you're going through the process are pretty interesting. Yeah. And one of the things that I'm working from the assumption that this is in addition to any people that you care about in your life. Like, obviously, if I have to choose 3 people to make it with me and some, to actually survive with me in some sort of survival situation, I'm going to pick the 3 people that I care about most, regardless of their skill set. So this is not counting that, obviously. This is 3 people that you get to add to your, because otherwise it'd be like, my girlfriend, my brother, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Because I'm not just going to abandon them and get people who make my chances of surviving better.
I went, okay, well, we'll have to wait to a little bit later in the show.
Well, that's how I interpreted it. So
I think we're going to have dramatically different answers, I think, but there's nothing wrong with that. So, Case, good evening, Donna, Lady T Survival, Exploring with Larry, Mark Olson, we got some regular names here.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Molesky, Smomo. You have to tell me I have to pronounce that correctly, Michael, when I meet you in person. Mark Olson. Right. Yeah. George Orwell. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the
Prepper
Trifecta. So just to rehash that last concept, we had, just in case you're just joining us, a member through the chat said, if you could create your bug out fantasy team, the person has to be alive today, 3 people, who would you want on your bug out post SHTF situation scenario? Which 3 people alive today? And I got to tell you, I knew one. You said off the bat, I knew one person right off the bat for sure. I got to grab her. She's amazing. And I struggled with the latter too. I really did. Just so many choices, right?
So well, do you want to just get right into it then?
No, I think people should have one wait. Or do you want me to tell you the?
Well, we can wait. We can wait for a few more people, but I will, like I said, I will reiterate that I interpreted it as adding people to my family friends group. Not that I would have to pick from everyone on the planet, and exclude because I would obviously choose the people closest to me, regardless of their if they were slowing me down or helping me survive. If those were the only 3 people that I got to allow to survive, basically.
I chose basically my 3 are celebrities, and I didn't think about anybody immediately around me or anything like that.
I did the same thing. Yeah, they're all relatively
Relatively,
but not necessarily. One in particular is not at all famous. I kind of researched for a specific skill set I was looking for.
Okay. Well, I sent you 3 photos. Why don't we go through those first?
Okay. Yeah. I got to pull those up really quick.
Of my super team.
Yeah, your super team.
And, we will do the big reveal.
All right. Let me see here. I'm gonna make a folder for yours so I don't actually get them
away. The photos
real mine either.
And, I'll explain the relevance or how I envisioned this super team.
Right. I'm downloading them right now, so give me a second. You have 4 pictures here, but it's 2 of the same person, I think.
Yeah, that's right, because I needed to show the technique.
Right, the particular skill set.
The particular skill set that this individual has.
Okay. Got it. Just a second. My computer skills are not my particular skill set. All right, so I think I'm ready whenever you are interested in showing your
Let's do it.
team. All right, so we're going to I'm going to share screen. All right, can you see that?
The third one, but actually we want to go to what's labeled number 1.
Oh, are they labeled?
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. You're showing the third picture.
All right, here we go.
Okay, Fred Penner, famous celebrity, right? Everybody knows him. Very innocent.
I have no idea who this is.
Audience members, maybe the audience can chime in to knowing this great man, this children's entertainer, plays guitar. I play guitar, in case anybody was, but I'm no Penner.
Can this guy shred?
Can he what? Sorry?
Can he shred?
Oh, he's awesome. He's amazing. He's like he lives in a log, or he crawls through a log as part of the show. So it just defenses. Next, we have, I don't know his name. It's the no, that's the third one again.
Yeah, I know. It's whatever order the pictures came up in.
Okay, so this is the correct terminology is the little person of stature, and this gentleman is the little person of stature from the movie Willow.
Yeah, he was in Leprechaun as well, and a bunch of the '80s movies.
Yeah, it was a bunch of '80s movies. Yeah, that's right. And he's going to be a very, very powerful ally. And I don't
disagree.
But we'll just call him the little person of stature from the movie Willow. Okay. Now the third one is Jimmy Superfly Snuka. And Jimmy Superfly Snuka. This is a world famous pro wrestler. And
obviously jacked and tan.
Jacked, right? He's got the hair, he's jacked, and he's got style. But this is the important aspect, is look at the 4th photo. And this is why I included the 4th photo, because Jimmy Snuka, Superfly Snuka, he has this great technique where he's jumping. He can jump. And then in this case here, you have the late
Andre
great
the Giant.
Andre the Giant, rather, and he's jumping up. And that was his end game technique. So we can go ahead and okay, so everybody who's seen that photo, we can go ahead and end the screen share, and I'll just go on and elaborate on the concept a bit more. Fred Penner, boom, defense, walking in the bush, boom, no more defenses. Fred Penner, wow, Fred Penner. Everybody's like, wow, he's great. Maybe play a song, we got some entertainment tonight around the campfire. A little person of stature comes into the picture. Everybody's just amazed, and their attention is down
until Jimmy Snuka.
Exactly. Bam! Right on top of everybody, messes up the game. Didn't see it coming out of nowhere.
That's funny.
That's my strategy, folks. Okay, that was a joke.
Well thought out.
The real Bug Out Fantasy team is coming up shortly. You'll have to stay tuned. We'll reveal it later in the episode.
Yeah, we each have our. I didn't have a fake one. I'm sorry. I took it seriously. Which is unlike me usually.
You don't know Fred Penner though. He was a famous kids entertainer. I'm sure some of the audience. Oh, there we go. George Orwell doesn't know. Some of them know.
Before my time, I'm sure.
Like what was it, Bram?
Who?
Sharon Lois and Bram. That was another one. Same era.
Are
No,
these Canadian things? Because I've never
maybe.
heard of this stuff.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Anyway. Okay, Keisha, I apologize, I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Les Stroud, I've met Les. I actually met Les and Ray in the same room at the same time. It's kind of
Nice.
neat.
That is
Ray's
cool.
Ray Mears. Hawk? McHale? Yes. Absolute badass mofo. I believe there was actually something legal between Hawk and a dual survival member, where he had certain credentials, and Hawk was basically saying you're phony, you're not.
Yeah,
real.
wasn't it Canterbury? They said that he like exaggerated his military experience.
He exaggerated on his resume.
Yeah.
And they canned for that, but it was about the one I was making fun of with the the big bolt cutters.
Oh
I
yeah.
forget the name. There's some kind of animosity there. And Mark Olson says, actually, Canadian prepper would be welcome on my team. Cool. Good for you.
I stayed away from YouTubers just because you never really know. You know what I mean?
I don't have a lot of faith in preparedness YouTubers. I wouldn't choose any of them, to be honest with you. Oh, I should say that. Less than 5%.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just me. Patriot Nurse. Yeah, she's obviously got a lot of skill. Spoken with her a couple times. I've conversed with her. Nice lady. But as far as survival is concerned, between the lists that Keisha, I would say either Hawk or Mears, personally. As for like actual survivalists, if we were to take, and I don't know what your list is, you don't know what my list is.
No idea.
Just from a pure survival perspective, who would you take? Who would you choose?
Well, you want me to just go ahead? Because I'll go over my my strategy, my philosophy of how I built my list, and then I'll give you my choice. Because ideally, I had certain skill sets that I identified ahead of time as wanting to have on the team. If there could be overlap or doubling up, that's even better. But I wanted like some specialists. Personally, I tend to be more of a jack of all trades, so I don't have necessarily like the bushcrafting expertise to the extent that you do or other people do. So I wanted that to be one of the things on my list. So I actually did choose Ray Mears to be on mine.
Ooh.
Yeah, because he is like a wilderness survival specialist, but he also has a military experience as well. So he was one of those that I chose.
Wow. Yeah, excellent choice. Excellent choice. I would, for me, it was like just to choose, and it's not on my list because I didn't think about survival preparedness. I thought about more third tier thinking, regenerating society.
I'm looking at it from the perspective of I don't know what's happening, but it's starting from the beginning stages of the apocalypse, basically.
Got it.
Or the scenario, whatever it is.
Well, he certainly is. I got a lot of respect for that man, that's for sure. I'm going to email you a photo, actually, if you don't mind, and maybe you can share it with the audience. He's certainly it's weird too in the UK. They've got this great polarity. I mean, for me, you toss it between him or Ed Stafford, the guy that walked the Amazon.
Yeah, that guy's a savage.
Just savage, mad survival skills.
But that's the thing. When it came down to it, I would have someone with seemingly similar types of skill sets. I would go for the one that also had like either military experience or some additional skill set as well. Which I'm not sure if Stafford was military or not, honestly. I don't know. He may have had a military background.
I can't remember, but just
I can't remember either.
His doing some of his reading. The guy's
obviously he's younger, I believe, which would probably be an advantage. But Ray Mears is getting up there.
Yeah, I mean they're both exceptionally good survivalists, and we should point that out too. You know, not all survival's fake. Not all survivalists on TV. I mean, there's certainly some people that have
know their stuff. Yeah,
know their stuff and have serious game. So, yeah. Cool, man. What's new?
Not much. Are you trying to find your picture?
I've got it.
Okay.
It's just with me and Ray from a few years back, and I'm just
cool.
That's all. It was neat. Yeah. It was
see if I can share.
Like 7 hours to get to this convention, the Tamagami Canoe Festival, and it was the sort of thing.
See that?
Yeah, I can see it. nobody knew who he was, really. It was a small town up north with this canoe festival, and he taught this survival class. And I met him a couple times, actually, through the same sort of thing. It was just a unique experience to have somebody of his caliber with teaching a lesson with only a dozen people there. I was right in front. I make sure I got the right front and center. And very nice guy, very, very humble. And I think that separates it makes a difference. I mean, some people have game.
You don't want egomaniacs and stuff on there, you know what I mean? Who would cause trouble. Yeah,
exactly. So
why don't you, what's first person on your team then? So we'll do 1-on-1.
We do 1-on-1?
Or do you want me to do the whole thing and then you do yours?
Did you get photos?
I do. Yeah, I have a couple photos.
Okay.
It's just generic though. That, I mean, pulled them off Google and stuff.
Okay.
So I'll show my photo of that I have of.
Sure. Why don't you send number 1 first, and I will send you my number 1.
Yeah, mine are in no particular order of importance, but number 1 was Ray Mears for survival skills.
Awesome. Excellent choice. Excellent choice. Well, just here, pause. What was it about? What else about Ray Mears did you like?
Well, like I said, wilderness survival specifically, and the military experience. So there's some overlap there. And he seemed to be authentic, like you said, and not be either crazy or the type of personality that wouldn't get along well in a group. And I don't know that much about him personally, but that was just the vibe I was getting.
Humble, polite,
right?
Good sense of humor,
right?
I emailed you my first, so
all right, let me check it out. Good choice.
Yes,
what's that? Good choice. So you're going with Gina Carano, huh?
Yeah.
Good choice. Although she's getting up there too now in age.
She's the prize, man. I mean, this woman is a champion.
Yeah.
This woman is a
Muay Thai and MMA.
She's a very, very strong-willed person. She's beautiful. She's very intelligent, and she's the prize. She makes me melt. Look at that smile. Can you zoom in on her face? Can you zoom in on
the face? Is that working? Did I get her face?
I don't know what it is. I melt. I literally melt when I look at this woman. She's amazing. Okay, so we can cut the chair, and I'll just elaborate and say that she's a person of authority, and a person that could transcend and act as she'd be a valuable player on a lot of different levels. I wasn't thinking in the context of surviving the moments, because I think somebody like that would be so strong-willed and determined as it is that we'd figure, and if I was there, fire, water, food, shelter, all those sort of things wouldn't really matter so much. I'm thinking more third-tier thinking and restarting society. So, great.
See, I was looking at it from the perspective of I don't know what the event is. Might not be a society-ending thing. Who knows? So, I went with more surviving the event.
No, that's cool, man. And there's no wrong answers to this.
Yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard, interesting choice. Certainly from a political standpoint, she would be invaluable. Would you like to go to number 2?
Sure. Let me get my picture up. So number 2, I had a couple skill sets that I wanted to, and one that I wanted to make sure was covered, even though I tended to go towards people with military experience in general. I wanted at least one person who would be the just all-around badass warrior ass kicker for the group. Cool. So for my choice, I went with Tim Kennedy, who is a
wow.
He's a U.S. Green Beret, Jiu-Jitsu black belt, well-known UFC fighter as well. So he'd be worth at least 10 normal men in any sort of combative situation, and definitely seems like all-around good-natured guy as well, not a maniac or anything. So be definitely a formidable person to have on your team.
I'd say so. I mean, it sounds like he's one of those guys that he lives his life and he accomplishes, what 100 men only could dream to do, 10 different ways and times.
Yeah, he's a master of like all manner of basic martial disciplines, basically firearms, jiu-jitsu, striking, you know, fitness, everything.
Right,
So,
by itself. I mean, just to have it.
yeah, he's a monster basically. So hopefully he would agree with my decisions on the group, but you know.
I had a people may not understand this choice that I'm making, but I'm thinking more. Again, I got to go back to the third tier thinking. So you can load up, share the screen when you have a second. I just sent you an email with my second choice.
Someone says Eric, he's anti-gun. Who's anti-gun? Tim Kennedy? That doesn't really make sense. But anyways, this isn't about politics necessarily. So he's certainly not anti-using guns.
Yeah, well, I mean, didn't he have? What did he have in his hands there? That photo yet? Didn't he have a firearm?
Knife? He had a knife and a pistol. Yeah, I mean he's a Green Beret, and he does all sorts of tactical training stuff. Yeah, I mean I don't. He might have be something about, oh, I don't think all civilians should have them or whatever. Who knows? But, oh really? This nice choice. All right, we're gonna share your screen. So your next choice is Dutch.
Well, Schwarzenegger in general, and a lot of people will say, I don't care what people say. Bill Burr nailed this. We talked about Schwarzenegger, and I mean, from a third tier thinking or frame of mind, look at this man, like what he accomplished in his life. He at one point was the greatest weightlifter in the world. He became this mega, blockbuster movie star. But I don't care about that. I care more about the engine in his mind for him to aspire and become such a great man, become a governor.
I mean, definitely, I agree. I think that he is one of those, like, going back to what you said before, though, you might struggle with him, like, because he's like one of those like apex alpha type personalities that would always be pushing for, like, not necessarily control, but he would always be right there at the top. You know what I mean? So if you didn't agree with him on something, it could cause problems. And I tend to think he's gotten soft in his old age too.
Fair enough. And that way, if I could, that's why I chose specifically the Predator era, because if you could forget Arnold Schwarzenegger, the actor, just put him as a person like he was then.
Oh yeah.
This man, I'm not
forced to be reckoned with.
I wouldn't want to lead the tribe or be a part of it politically or no inclination to do so. He would be an excellent leader in a post-SHTF situation because of his charismatic nature. So, I mean, seriously,
definitely could serve as a statesman of sorts, and also being, obviously physically formidable and helpful, useful in his prime.
Yeah. All right. Should we continue down this rabbit hole?
Sure. All right. So this next one is someone who is really not famous at all. I just found a random real person because the particular skill set I was looking for, I had either two more that I wanted to go with. One was either extreme mechanical skills of different sorts, like someone who could make gunpowder out of whatever, or make wood gasifiers and fix engines and everything, or someone who had extensive medical skills, particularly like primitive medical skills outside of a normal hospital environment. Because a lot of doctors, and don't hate on me if your family members are doctors or whatever, but they are, as a group, just typical like MDs seem to be some of the worst like inside the box thinkers of like any group of people out there. It's actually like scary when you find out like just how stupid they are, for lack of a better term. They just apply, like they're just regurgitating whatever is told to them. They're not doing any critical thinking. They're not doing really anything more than a slightly more informed version of WebMD. They don't do any sort of like actual research or trying to figure out what the problem is. You know what I mean? I just don't have a lot of respect for the standard doctor at all. And they're worse than useless usually outside of their exact normal environment. Like if they didn't have a fully staffed OR and nurses around them, they literally wouldn't be able to do almost anything a lot of times. They're just, so sorry for going ham on doctors, but so the medical skills, though, obviously the knowledge and the skills are incredibly important if you're in a disaster situation, specifically the ability to do it in a primitive disaster scenario. So I did some research and I found there's probably better out there. This was like fairly last minute. I was looking for a very particular set of skills. I found this dude named Ian Wedmore, who is part of an organization called the Wilderness Medical Society, which specializes in austere first aid and surgery and things like that. And let me find that. I have a page for him. He has military experience as well. So it's part of also the, what's it called? Advanced Wilderness Life Support. It's medical professionals with extensive experience in wilderness medicine. And he has military experience in the Army, done a lot of rock climbing and outdoor stuff, and specializes in austere medicine and trauma, things like that, in wilderness situations without having a full, and tactical combat care, things like that. So that'd be my choice.
Dude, I think you hit the
Or
nail on the head.
or someone else, similar to that. Because like I said, I know very little about this guy in particular, but he seemed to check the box of what I was looking for. And he was the youngest of the people in that particular organization, or youngest looking at least. Like there was another guy who's the head of it who had a lot more of like direct combat experience, but it says he's retired with over 29 years of active service, so he could be in his 70s, you know what I mean? So if you were choosing them as they are today, which is kind of what I was just defaulting to, I would go with the younger guys. So
Wow.
What a great choice. What a really great choice. I think we're certainly gonna have a segregation with the group, the chat.
yeah.
The half of the group agreeing with you and half the group agreeing with, well, maybe nobody will agree with me, because I did a 180 with my last one, and
No, it makes sense. So I totally see the train of thought. And like you said, as someone, if you're coming from a perspective of, I don't necessarily need or anticipating having help like with the survival element of it. So I'm looking at what I would want help with, kind of thing.
it's a cocky attitude, I think, that I
It's not
have.
necessarily cocky. It's, if it's realistic, it's what would I not be able to do by myself? If you're confident that you'd be able to be out in the woods and survive by yourself, then why would you get someone who that was their skill set?
Sure.
You're
Yeah,
like, if I know I can take care of this part, I'm going to get someone to take care of the other parts. Just like the doctor wouldn't get another doctor to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even at that too, I think you're exactly correct in your thinking with respect to the a traditional doctor probably isn't going to do too well in a post SHTF situation.
Right. Because all they know how to do is prescribe the right medicine, or give me 50 cc's of this, give me the pack of gun. With that stuff not there, they might not have ever even thought about what to do instead.
Yeah.
Natural medicine, alternatives, things like that. And they tend to be highly specialized too.
Yeah. So let's go with my third one. I think I sent you an email on it, and it's a
Let me
complete
find it.
180
Complete
to
180.
yeah, to what you're thinking.
I like it though. For morale purposes, I guess. So we got Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, and it's speaking of medicine,
Yeah, right. Medicine for the soul, I guess.
laughter is the best medicine. And that's why I think maybe my approach was a little cocky, because
We should have gone with Bill Burr, because he was training how to fly a helicopter for the apocalypse and everything.
that's a good point. I wouldn't have as much. He's funny, but you know what? Maybe Bill Burr, you're right, because Bill Burr, he's got his rants. I listen to his podcast.
Yeah, he's talking about surviving the apocalypse, so he's done some stuff.
And I could listen to those rambles around the campfire with his wife.
I think Bill Burr is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, not that Chappelle isn't, obviously he's hilarious, but
Well, Chappelle, I think the thing that I like about Chappelle is, and like I said, maybe this is a little cocky. Like, I think I'd have the survival thing down. I would. Food, fire, like I'd have everything down. I'm thinking about rebuilding. So what do I want? I need a great leader. I need a woman, a really powerful woman that is able to, with their martial arts background too, to be a great teacher. And then I want to be able to laugh 24/7. The thing I like about Chappelle is, first of all, he's got a direct connection to my neurology in terms of my laugh bone. My laugh, the guy can make me laugh. But he's been known to be at parks and just riffing humor to crowds for hours on end. It's not so much a job to him.
Yeah.
You do have a really good point with Burr being a helicopter pilot, because
and also he's good at, like you said, just like you were talking about Chappelle with off the cuff rants. It could just be funny. He doesn't have to. Some comedians tend to have to sit down and write a joke, and they're not necessarily that funny in just an individual face-to-face basis.
That's right. It would be natural, for Chappelle just to. It's like him when he speaks. He doesn't have to think about making a joke. He just makes a joke. Ryan Hickenbottom.
Thank you, Brian. Once again, also I have to tell you, I got a lot of information already started on making a video on Shit the Fan footwear. And my dad actually supplied me with a lot of great info on that as well, because that's something that he's been interested in researching for many years to find good stuff about that. So I'll put that video together, which is what you requested last time. So thanks again for the support.
Well, that's right. Brian had mentioned that before. Thanks, Brian. Yeah. First off, always glad to support this channel as a loyal fan, and I appreciate your efforts in putting this program together. Thanks a million. Brian, thank you.
Yeah.
It's awesome to have you.
So yeah, that's for sure. I definitely would say that if our teams fought, I mean, it wouldn't even be close. But
hold on a second here. Your Green Beret would that's
well, not to all three of the guys, all four of us would be military. First of all, not that necessarily would help, but then I mean, Tim Kennedy.
I think I'd
take one or two, at least 2 or 3 people on his own.
just because you're military and you're proficient at firearms doesn't necessarily mean that you're a superior group.
No, I said if we fought. If we fought though, straight up. If there was a battle, my team would win. Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything. I got some pretty cool strategies. I launched one tonight. It's called the 4 Horsemen on my Patreon page. It's an advanced prepper concepts tool that specifically looks for groups like you to determine. The concept is to determine the threat level and to take advantage of subconscious reactions and look at how people react in a certain situation. For example, if there was an instance of something, the first 10 to 30 seconds, the reaction is going to determine, okay, does this person have communication skills?
Right.
Are they competent? Are they confident? Do they put the rifle into the shoulder right away? There's all these sorts of things.
What's their dynamic within their own group? You know, like, are people arguing with each other? Is there someone in command? That sort of thing. Like, yeah, it would all pop up.
Anyways, okay, maybe in a direct firefight or falling. Okay, I'll give you that. Paint file, you know, and the reds against the greens or whatever. So there you go. So, folks, hope you liked our list. I thought it was a lot of fun, and maybe
that
we
is
can get
fun
for something to do next week, as long as I don't have to make a video about it. Then
right.
I'm good. Top 3, whatever.
I thought it was cool. Definitely pretty cool. I probably have to get out of here a little early tonight, but we can spend a few more minutes with your questions and whatnot. Get out of here maybe at 6:45 or something. But yeah, that was a good idea. That was fun. We'll definitely have to come up with some more things like that.
Who would you do? Anything come to mind for like because I'm reading Kevin R says if you could choose a dead person.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that because you seem like you had someone in mind before we got the rule that they had to be alive. So who was it that?
I knew, like, fictional right off the top of my head. It was like Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen.
Yeah, well, for fictional, you're going to choose people with just insane powers over reality.
Number 2, and then maybe I don't know, the Riddler or something for fun. It wouldn't matter because once you have Dr. Manhattan and Superman, it's game over. Like there's just no competition. But real life person, historical.
But just who happens to be dead, yeah.
Well, Jesus, there we go. Start there.
Right. Go with like Teddy Roosevelt or something. Then you get he's an avid outdoorsman, military guy, and a great statesman and leader for your group.
Yeah, that's true. Who would yours be? You gotta. Well, if you could, I mean, they say Jesus was a real man, and certainly choose him just for the awe factor.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't thought about. I didn't put any thought into the dead people because that was a.
I've heard Lincoln was a I'm thinking
I don't like Lincoln.
Men or women with conviction, intellectual conviction, and just superior level intellectually.
Probably go with like Thomas Jefferson or Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, for some reason, Lincoln is coming to mind. Yeah, maybe I'll have to. Do you want to do that for next week? Maybe top 3 historic
fiction. Okay, sure.
The people that that existed in time,
right, were real, but they're obviously no longer existing.
Or we can take existing people and then
So let's say Nikola Tesla. Tesla was kind of a beta. He let everybody steal his ideas and died penniless. I think he was like an autist. Obviously very intelligent, but
The man was a genius. Absolutely. It's a shame what happened to him, really, with his
getting robbed and stuff. Because what's his name?
way
Kind of a dickhead.
Edison.
Yeah, Edison is a major asshole.
Against there's competing technology, alternating current.
Right,
but
DC current, yeah.
Yeah. Difficult to say.
Yeah.
People ask for well, I saw the movie with the Revenant. I don't know if you saw that or not. I don't know if I would choose him specifically. It was certainly horrific.
Maybe like Audie Murphy or somebody.
If you saw that, did you see that movie, The Revenant?
Is that the one who gets raped by the bear?
Oh, I don't know what to define it as rape.
It's funny because, of course, it's not. He's getting attacked by the bear. But for some reason, before the movie came out, people started this like rumor. I think it's just a joke that he gets raped by the bear, and they would show like still shots of him being like, "Oh," and they're like, "Wait, what? He doesn't get raped by the bear, does he?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's fucking horrible." Yeah, who knows, right? You're not going to tell anyone if that's what happened. The guy was attacked. Viciously attacked.
Got raped in prison. It's not like they're going to say anything. So
right.
Raped animal. That's I'm not even going to.
CLM says the bear had affirmative ongoing consent, so it's okay.
It's kind of funny. I've got some memes here from a regular guest named.
Oh, nice. Because I slacked on the memes. I haven't been downloading them.
Would you like me to forward them to you?
Sure.
All right. So, and Doug said something about he missed last week's episode. He was the gentleman that had gardening questions, and he said, "Well, can we go on? Ask to go through it again on this episode." Okay. And the answer is no. We did. I appreciate the request, but we're not, puppets on a string here to entertain you. I keep the questions coming. But if you miss the episode, we're not going to change the show and answer your question so when you're live and you can watch it. So yeah. No offense.
Right, but I mean that is the difference between the live shows. We're here at a specific time every week. So if you guys want to have the live questions, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, let's assume I did go through the gardening stuff again, and then you missed that, and it's like, hey, Che, we missed it. Can you do it again next week?
Yeah, it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap up shortly. I just sent you those memes there, ladies and gentlemen. Well,
Eric showed up yet.
Maybe.
I'm just waiting for them to show up.
If you've got a question out there or a suggestion for the top 3 for next week, all caps in the comments. Keep them coming. If you want to get a hold of me, it's Che at info@ontariopreppers.ca. And
myself, it's rulethewasteland@gmail.com, which right now is not updating because your email hasn't showed up yet.
Really? Eric's got some cool fishing kits as well.
Allegedly. I just sent another box on to Amazon. So check it out. Rule the Wasteland Survival Fishing Kit on Amazon.
And for new people that are just joining us this evening, this is a regular rant that we do back and forth. Usually we have guests every week. It's 9 p.m. EST. Every Sunday night, 2 preppers talking. Usually we have a guest.
Usually with a third.
But
not always. And speaking of which, if you guys are interested in being on, I know I've had 1 or 2 people mention that, shoot us an email. We can't always necessarily guarantee that you'll get a whole episode, but sometimes we'll have ones where it's just us, no scheduled guests, and we can, if you're ready, get you to hop on for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. So just email us and let us know if you're interested in that. Your email's still not showing up, man. I don't know what to.
It's not showing up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
is it too big? Week. Maybe it got kicked back.
Maybe.
It was too big of a file or something.
No, it's good. It's only 4.
We're gonna end. Someone says, "Are you ending right now?" Yeah, I'm gonna have to end a little early tonight.
But, are you guys ending RNLOLGs? Yeah. Unfortunately, yes.
Dizzle. Unfortunately, faux rizzle.
Yeah, I don't, and I can't tell with your avatar if you're 14 or 42, Jay Dizzle. I got a thing for brunettes though, so.
Who doesn't?
Nothing. I retract. We should retract it. Never mind.
In case they are 14.
Okay, dude, what do you want to do next week? Top 3 fictional?
The fictional, yeah. We'll go with the fictional ones. Yeah, these links aren't showing up. Sorry, or the pictures. You send them to me, and I'll bring them up next time, I guess.
Oh, sorry, they did come through?
No, they never did.
Okay, Doug and Doug's wife, we'll put the memes on next week. Thank you. I gave you the link to the, or I didn't give you the link, but the previous episode on Eric's channel, you can see we touched on gardening. I do know some gardening experts, a few of them actually. So if you have specific questions, I'd be happy to forward you my contacts. Brian's already getting in there. Be safe, Eric and Jay. You guys are awesome. See you next time. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
You rock, dude. And I think we need to switch up our game here a little bit. I think we need to, Brian was talking about, oh, what do we do? Access control. I think that would be cool for next week. We can talk about a 2-minute survival tip, prepper tip.
Okay.
In addition to the 3 post-apocalyptic bug out fantasy team members that could.
Is there a?
We're also going to do a survival tip of the week.
You want to do a particular topic or category of survival?
You name it. So that's up to you. Whatever
Cool.
you want.
Just whatever I want. Just a real quick tip.
What would you like it to be?
Oh, you want me to choose a specific topic?
What comes to mind?
Foods. What's that?
Or maybe the audience could suggest something.
Yeah, we can start with food storage. That's a really basic.
Sure. Just keep it general, abstract.
Real yeah.
Cool. Works for me.
That's something everyone should be get started with.
Certainly ubiquitous, and I'll ramble off, or I'll leave it for my end. I'll leave it like this, which is that people prepare for a lot of different reasons, but there's certainly there's ubiquitous topics, and it's purifying water, creating fire, preservation. Doesn't matter if you're a Mormon and you believe in scripture and the world's going to an end, they're going to, or if you're part of a cult, or if you're rational and logic, that doesn't really matter. The important thing is that you recognize the importance to prepare. And sure, food preservation. Let's do it. Shay, proper logic. Thanks, Eric. This is fun.
No sweat.
Thank you for brought up that top 3. That was a lot of fun, actually.
That was cool. Good idea for video. So I appreciate you guys swinging by. We'll see you next week, same time and place.